Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Misbahul Mukarrabin. Welcome you all to my channel. Today I will show you different muscles of upper limb. So let's start. The first big muscles of the upper limb we see here is the deltoid muscle. This is the deltoid muscle. It has three parts. Look from front. The first part is the clavicular part of deltoid muscle. See, this arises from the clavicle and inserts into the deltoid tuberosity. The next part is the acromial part of deltoid muscle. Look, this part is arises from the acromial process of the scapula and inserts in the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. Then the last part is the scapular spinal part of the deltoid muscle, which arises from the scapular spine and inserts in the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. So this is the deltoid muscle. If we isolate the deltoid muscle, then you can clearly see the structure of the deltoid muscle. The clavicular part, which arises from the clavicle, the acromion part, this is the acromion part which arises from the acromion process of the scapula, and the spinous scapular spinal part which arises from the scapular spine, and all of these three parts inserts in the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. Then we will remove the deltoid muscle. Then we see a big muscle in the pectoral region or in the chest. This is the pectoralis major muscle, which arises from the sternum clavicular. It has clavicular head and two aspects of medial half of the clavicle, and the sternocostal head arises from the manubrium sternal body, the true ribs and their costal cartilages, and abdominal part arises from the external abdominal oblique aponeurosis. We remove this muscle. Then we will focus on the muscles of the arm. So to clear our visualization, we remove the other muscles. We remove the other muscles. So this muscle is the descending part of the trapezius muscle. Look here, this is the descending part of the trapezius muscle. We remove this, and now the muscles of the scapula has been exposed. This is the supraspinatus muscle. If we isolate it, this is the supraspinatus muscle, which arises from the supraspinous fossa of the scapula and inserts in the greater tuberosity of the humerus. This is the supraspinatus muscle. Then the next muscle is the infraspinatus muscle, which arises from the inferior spinatus fossa and inserts into the greater tuberosity of the humerus. This is the infraspinatus muscle. Then the next muscle is the teres minor muscle. This is the teres minor muscle, which arises from the lateral border of the scapula and inserts into the greater tuberosity. This is the teres minor muscle. And the next muscle is the, look here, this is the subscapularis muscle, which arises from the subscapular fossa. This is the subscapularis muscle, which arises from the subscapular fossa and inserts into the lesser tubercle of the humerus. This is the subscapularis muscle. These four muscles, that means the supraspinatus muscle, the infraspinatus muscle, the teres minor muscle, and the last of all, the subscapularis muscle, these four muscles are combinedly called the rotator cuff muscle. It is very important. Please remember, this four muscle is called the rotator muscle. Then the muscles of the front of your arm, a big muscle, this is called the biceps brachii muscle. It has two heads. This is the short head of biceps brachii muscle, and this is the long head of biceps brachii muscle. If we isolate, you will clearly see this is the long head of the biceps brachii muscle. It arises from the supraglenoid tubercle, and the short head arises from the apex of the coracoid process, and they inserts into the tuberosity of the radius. Radial tuberosity. This is the radial tuberosity. See here, this is the radial tuberosity. This is the biceps brachii muscle. Then, if we remove the biceps brachii muscle, the next muscle exposed here is the coracobrachialis muscle. This is the coracobrachialis muscle. From name, we can easily understood its origin and insertion, as its name is coracobrachialis muscle. So it arises from the coracoid process, and brachialis means the arm, so it inserts into the humerus. So this is the coracobrachialis muscle. We remove the coracobrachialis muscle. Then there is a big muscle which arises from the humerus. It is the brachialis muscle. This is the brachialis muscle in front of your arm. Look, this is the brachialis muscle. This is the brachialis muscle. From side, this is the brachialis muscle. If we isolate it, we can clearly see it arises from the anterior aspect of the distal shaft of humerus, and it inserts into the coronoid process and tuberosity of ulna. Coronoid process and tuberosity of ulna. This is the brachialis muscle. Then we remove the brachialis muscle. Then the next muscle behind your arm is the triceps muscle. It has three parts: the lateral head, the long head, and if we remove the long head, then we will see the medial head of the triceps. This is the triceps muscle. If we isolate triceps muscle, this is the long head of triceps, this is the medial head of triceps, and below the medial head of the this is the lateral head of the triceps, and below the lateral head of triceps, this is the medial head of triceps. So it arises from the infraglenoid tubercle of scapula and inserts into the olecranon of ulna and adjacent antebrachial fascia. So the long head arises from the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. We remove the triceps muscle. This is the Triceps brachii tendon. This tendon is the triceps brachii tendon. We remove the triceps muscle. Then the muscles of the forearm. First, from lateral to medial, see here carefully. There is a big muscle. This is the brachioradialis muscle. Look, this is the brachioradialis muscle. From name, we easily understand that this muscle arises from the brachium or arm, which is the humerus, and it inserts into the radialis. As the name is brachioradialis, so it inserts into the radial radius. So brachioradialis arises from the, so this is the brachioradialis arises from the distal part of the humerus and inserts into the distal part of the radius. This is the brachioradialis muscle. Then we remove the bicipital aponeurosis. This structure is the bicipital aponeurosis. It is an important structure. Remember, this is the bicipital aponeurosis, which is located in front of your elbow joint. We remove this. Then the oblique muscle, here we see the pronator teres muscle. This is the pronator teres muscle, and this is the brachioradialis muscle, and this is the pronator teres muscle. And the triangle formed here is the cubital fossa. This is the cubital fossa in between the brachioradialis and pronator teres, and beside the pronator teres there is a big muscle which originates from the medial condyle of the humerus and inserts into the carpal bones. This is the flexor carpi radialis muscle. This is the flexor carpi radialis muscle. If we isolate it, we can clearly see that this is the flexor carpi radialis muscle. Arises from the medial condyle of humerus and inserts into the carpal bones or base of the palmar aspects of the bases of the second and third metacarpal bones. Then beside the flexor carpi radialis muscle, we see here is the palmaris longus muscle. This is the palmaris longus muscle. It arises from the medial condyle of humerus and inserts into the palmar aponeurosis and flexor retinaculum of hand. So this is the part 1 of the muscles of the upper limb. Please see my second part of the muscles of the upper limb. Till then, stay with me. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope this video will help you. Please subscribe my channel and do share this video. Thanks again. Assalamu alaikum.